Alright, so we are going to be learning how to play volley tennis today. It is a combination of volleyball and tennis. The court is set up like this, where you will have about 6 players on your court at a time. And they'll be on one half of the court, as seen over here. This back line will be the net, so they're all going to be facing the net. And then the other team would be on this side. The back right person is always the server. Okay, so over here, this is the back left. This person's not the server. The back right person would be the server. So if we go to the other side of the court, this would be the back right if you're facing the net. The server always serves the ball to the setter. This is only applicable in volley tennis. You do not do this in volleyball, but remember, volley tennis is a way to progress you into volleyball for next year. So the server is going to serve the ball to the setter, and then the setter is going to send it over the net, just like this. As you can see, the setter got the ball, and they're going to send it over. So what happened in this scenario? The ball went over the net, it landed once, it landed twice, and it landed 3 times. It bounced 3 times, and these blue players, they just stood there and watched it happen. They didn't move, they didn't do anything. So this team, the red team, got 1 point because the blue team was unable to return the ball with letting it bounce 1 time. So in volley tennis, the ball can bounce 3 times total on your court. However, every time it bounces, it then needs to be contacted by a player. So if you have a bounce and then this guy hits it, and then it bounces again and then this guy hits it, it's totally fine. But if you have a bounce and this guy hits it, and then a bounce, and then another bounce, that's no good. It didn't get intercepted by a player each time. So you can have 3 bounces total, but they have to go bounce, contact, bounce, contact, bounce, contact over the net on that 3rd contact. So anyways, this red team got a point because the blue team let it bounce 3 times without getting to the ball. So the red team's going to get the point. Up here you'll see the score. And they're going to get to serve again. Okay, so the server is the same back right position. They're going to serve to the setter in the middle. Setter sends it over. This time the blue team was ready. Their back left player moved forward, and he got the ball. So he's going to hit it up to his teammate, and he's going to receive it and then hit it up again to his teammate. Keep in mind that they can either let it bounce, so he could have hit it up, it bounced, and then he gets it. And then he could hit it up, bounce, and he gets it. You don't always have to do the bounces. If you just want to directly hit it up to your teammate, that works as well. So the center setter on the blue team has the ball now, and he's going to send it over the net to the red team. The red team lets it bounce, bounce, bounce 2 times, and they didn't get to the ball. So the blue team gets 1 point. Now the score is 1-1. So now, because the blue team won, they're going to get the ball and they're going to get to serve. So remember, their back right person is the server. They're going to serve to the setter in the middle. And then the setter is going to hit it over. In this case, the setter hits it out of bounds. So that's going to be a point for red. If the ball goes out of bounds on your hit, the other team gets the ball and gets the point. Okay, so it goes back to red. Now red will have rotated. So this is a new person. When you rotate clockwise. So in the last round we saw this guy was standing here and he was the server. And this guy was the guy who moved here. Okay, so everybody rotates each time you get the serve back. So in the beginning of the game, if you recall, red team served it over, they won, then they served again. They didn't rotate that round because they had possession of the ball and they maintained possession of the ball. But when red lost the ball and blue got it, and blue hit it out, red got the ball back, that's when they rotate. Okay, so the server, they served the ball to the setter sends it over, it lands on the line. So on the line is considered inbounds, so blue team should continue to play it off that bounce. However, blue team wasn't ready, so red team gets that point. Okay, so that's just a little brief overview. The rules of the game, we kind of talked a little bit about this, we'll go a little bit deeper. The person in the right back is the server, just like we talked about. They send the ball into play using the underhand serve. We're not using the overhand serve in volley tennis. The server serves it to the setter, who is standing in front of the net, and they're going to send it over their body, over the net. The ball is allowed to bounce one time before the setter makes contact with it. So the server can serve it, it bounces, and the setter will hit it over. It may not bounce more than once in concession in any part of the game. So the setter will send the ball over the net to the other team. Just like we saw, the other team may let the ball bounce once and then must hit the ball up to another teammate or over the net. The ball is only allowed to bounce 3 times total or less. You don't have to have it bounce at all on your team's side each round. You may not hit the ball more than 1 time in a row. However, your team can hit the ball 3 times total. So remember we talked about volleyball being a one-contact sport, so you can't do a double hit. You can only make a contact 1 time, and then someone else has to make a contact, and then you would be allowed to make another contact. But you can only make a contact 1 time in a row. If you win the point, your team serves. So red team won the point, they're going to continue to serve. Your team continues to serve until you lose a point, just like we talked about. When your team loses a point, the other team will be up to serve. So just like we saw, when red team lost it, blue team was up to serve. The other team rotates in a clockwise position to get a new server once they're receiving the serve. Players are not allowed to touch the net with their hands at any time. We don't want you to get your fingers caught and get hurt. If the ball bounces more than 3 times, the other team gets the point. If the ball bounces out of bounds, the other team gets the point. If the ball lands on any part of the boundary line, it is considered inbounds and play on. So that's just a little short overview of how to play volley tennis. I hope that helps you out if you're having some confusion.